Hey, crafty babes, it's Andrea. I'm ready to show you some setup of my December Daily 2017 album. I have already shown you my DIY kit, so you can see all of the supplies and embellishments that I'll be using this year. And here is going to be a look inside how I've prepped it so far. All right, well, let's take a look. I always start with an album, and I usually need to buy two. So this is an Echo Park album, and of course it's in the buffalo plaid because I have been all about the buffalo plaid this is going to be the third year that I've used it in my decorating and kind of obsessed with it. So when I saw these were available, I had to. There was just no way I could pass them up because I was afraid that maybe next year buffalo plaid wouldn't be in, and I really wanted to just capture this year in a buffalo plaid album because it's just the best. So I picked up two of these because in the past I have used albums this size. Like last year, I used the Simple Stories Snap albums, and I ended up using two because I don't like to limit myself, and I tend to get very chunky December Daily albums. So this is where I start, and then I usually at this point have created some setup as far as some dividers and usually an opening page. I do not do foundation pages. I know this is a hot topic and a lot of people like to make sure that they have foundation pages or a lot of pages prepped ahead of time. That's just not something that I can do. I cannot physically put cards into pockets without having photos to go along with them. And part of the fun, actually all of the fun for me documenting my December is playing with the paper and the cards and the embellishments and the photos, and making it a challenge to get all those things to match up. So that is part of my fun and what I enjoy most about the process. So that's not something that I want to do ahead of time. But the things that I do ahead of time are things like creating a setup and how the album is going to flow, and creating some sections for myself and some opening pages. And I also do document the weeks prior to December 1st. So I usually start decorating the house after Thanksgiving or on Thanksgiving typically. And so I include all of the decoration photos that I take into the beginning section of my album. So I leave enough room for the before December stuff and then all of the December, and I break them out into weeks. If you watched my December Daily flip throughs and prep videos from last year, you might remember that I did a weekly planner style, and actually I've done that 2 years in a row because I really liked breaking it up into sections instead of feeling like I have this really big long project to work on. For me, mentally, it just helps me break the project up. So I decided to do that again this year. You will also notice that I have more holes than necessary because I started out in a different binder and decided to make a change, but I had already punched my holes. So these kinds of things just don't bug me. So there was no way that I was going to redo any of these pages. So here is the opening page. I've used a lot of the Fa La La collection on this page. The paper, this little word strip, and the snowflake are from the Fa La La collection from Crate Paper, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I've looked for some additional papers and it seems to be sold out in the places that I've looked, but when I can get my hands on a few more of the 12 by 12 sheets, I will definitely grab them because I think I'm going to use them a whole lot, and they go fast when you're doing 6 by 8 album. So I really should have grabbed two of each, and that was kind of silly of me, but that's okay. So anyway, here's this opening page, and all I did was just layer some things on top of this wax bag, and I used some Felicity Jane Alpha stickers here and the Felicity Jane December stamp, and then just used the year section of my date stamper and a little puffy sticker here from Elle Studio. And a little puffy heart sticker here from Ellie's Studio. I think I might put a little tag in here or something. I'm not really sure, but I did leave myself that option, so just in case. And I really just wanted this to be very, very simple. This second page is usually where I keep the monthly calendar. I don't always fill things in here because I have weekly vertical planner pages in each weekly section, but this would be for just to keep an eye on what days fall on, you know, what numbers fall on what days. And just because I love every year, this particular person who designs these designs such cute calendar options that I just always feel like I have to include one of them in my album. So I will leave the link to her blog so that you can download your whichever one you decide. She does 3 or 4 every year, and they're all different styles. So of course I picked the vintage one. On this side here is a lot of people do the reason why, or their you know, just their thoughts about making this album and what December means to them. And I wanted to continue, like I've done for the past couple of years, is make a list of the things that I need to make sure get captured and the things that I'm looking most forward to. And so I used a lot of the Cherished collection here from the Reset Girl. And like I took one of the Happy Place Club prompts here, my holiday essentials, and then used my typewriter to make this list of all the things that I love about December and Christmas. I layered up some tags here from various places. This one's from Fa La La. This one's, I don't know, something. I don't know if it's from a collection. I think I just bought some tags. And then this one here is from Felicity Jane. And then just did a couple of clusters here and here with the layering circles and the circle stickers from the Cherished collection, which is just so pretty and gorgeous. I love all the pinks and reds and blacks together. So I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I'll share this on Instagram pretty soon. So anyway, this is not filled out, but I might throw some embellishments on here, or just maybe write in some special events or things that are happening. And then I always do an opening page for the divider. So this is going to be pre-December. I don't really call it week 1, but I will probably label it pre-December like I usually do. I don't know. Week 0. I'm not really sure how that works out. But anyway, I just used some elements to cluster and talk about it being, it's almost December. Let's see if I can name off some of the things that I've used here. So this paper and this paper is from Felicity Jane. This buffalo plaid is actually a vellum piece, but when I layered the vellum piece on top of the stripe, the stripe really showed through, and I didn't like how it looked. So I just backed this on a white piece of cardstock and then tore it with the cardstock behind it, and then just did a little clustering here. This is from Fa La La. This little ribbon is from, well, I guess it's like a pom-pom ribbon. That's from Felicity Jane as well. And this is from In a Creative Bubble. And this paper over here is from Fa La La. This is one of my favorites. We don't get snow, and so things that are snowy just make me happy. And I liked how the white just kind of popped all over the pages here. And this is from In a Creative Bubble as well, and I cannot remember if it's from her newest kit from this year or if it's left over from last year. I want to say it's from this year, but honestly I just don't recall, because I know that there was some stuff left over from the kits that I bought from her last year. And then I just layered some washi here with a little bit of rickrack. This rickrack is also from Felicity Jane. There's a little bundle of different kinds of ribbons and little strips of of fun texture-y things. So I really wanted to make sure that I could have some tangible things inside of this album. I really like things to be out of pockets. I like to be able to touch things. I've been really watching a lot of videos from Sue's Fish, and that is one of the things that she just specializes in that I love so much, that she just includes so many things, and it's just all touchable and tangible and makes noise and moves around, and that kind of thing really attracts me. So I'm trying to do that in my own clean, simple style. So I'm working on that. And then I wanted the divider tabs to contrast. I originally had punched out this color and then adhered the tab, but then when I looked at it open like this, I really wanted a little bit more contrast. So I repunched a different paper just so that there was some red over here. Okay, here is kind of more another opening page. Okay, so this photo was taken of us on Thanksgiving Day, and so I just wanted to kind of start the album out with being together for the holidays and being at home with my family is just kind of the best way to spend the holidays. And so it was just a pocket page using a lot of the Reset Girl collection, Cherished, the December collection that just came out. And so again, this is another layout that I'll be sharing in the coming weeks on Instagram. So that's that page, and there may or may not be anything that goes over here. I like the paper as is. It's got a nice contrast. It doesn't have to match perfectly with what's going on over here, but it doesn't clash, so that's totally fine with me. I'm going to actually skip a page here because this is a page for Ellie's studio that I cannot share yet, but you will see that very soon. So this is what I mean by sharing some pre-December things, but that are Christmas and December winter related. So I wanted to include that I picked up this really cute tin mug from Target, and that Target, my what am I trying to say? The catalyst to the Christmas spirit finally arriving in my heart this year was my trip to Target. I was just kind of not really feeling very excited about it yet. I hadn't brought out any of my decorations yet. You know, I'm in a different house, and I was worried about where I was going to put things, and that I was going to have to limit myself, and that our tree wasn't going to fit, and just all of these things were weighing on me. And so I just decided to head over to Target, and I threw on a Christmas playlist, and it just kind of happened. So it made me happy and really got the Christmas spirit revving in my heart and in my house. So here I just printed this on it's a 6x8 photo, and if you've seen my print at home process video that is on my YouTube channel, you can see my template that I use, and I allow myself enough space to make traveler's notebook sized photos, 6x8 photos, and all the pocket-sized photos. So it just is a collage that I use that I can print any size, anything smaller than 8.5 by 11, which for a 6x8 album is perfect. That's really all I need. And to match on this side, I used some papers from Felicity Jane, from Ellie's Studio, from Fa La La, and then just used a bunch of different embellishments to talk about just the hot chocolate and not being very excited, and then just having some joy after seeing Christmas out, and just allowing that to happen with me when it happened naturally and not trying to force it. So that's that page. Here is decorating the tree, and I don't have, actually, let me remove this little sticker. It just says end of week 1. I was just trying to get a feel for where all my pages were going to be, but that's kind of distracting back there. Okay, so this is us decorating the tree, and I am using a bunch of different stuff, but really wanted to use a lot of buffalo plaid stuff without it being like throwing up buffalo plaid, which I feel like it kind of is doing that, but that's okay. And the other thing I'm doing here that kind of made my heart a little anxious, but I'm mixing whites and creams. So as you can see, this has a cream background, this is a white background, white. This snowflake is cream, but this label is white. But the walls behind here are not a stark white. They are, because of the trees, they have this warmer glow to them, or because of the tree lights. And so I wanted to bring in some bright with the white, and I wanted to make sure that I was giving the warmness some credit. So I've mixed them up, and I'm feeling okay about it. I really am. So I just grabbed a couple of things that talked about getting the tree, and no, we didn't go cut this tree down or anything. I actually found this pencil tree at Michael's because I knew that the trees that I have, the artificial trees I have, were just way too wide for our space. So getting a pencil tree was kind of the perfect fit, and it doesn't take up too much room, and then we still have a lot of room for presents and stockings and all the other things that we love so much about decorating. And then this card right here is from Ellie's Studio from the Document December kit, and I just loved it so much because I could just easily document what the tree was about, and it doesn't have to be a lot of journaling or fancy or anything like that. But then pulled some greens over here, and just a couple other pieces of embellishment and clustering. So that's what I've done so far. A couple of things, it's been so gloomy and rainy here the last couple of days. What am I trying to do here? Is that I have not been able to take a better photo of my couple of walls and my decorations that sit on my TV stand. So once the light's better and I have some good photos, I'm gonna do another spread for like the little details of the decorating, and that'll be here and maybe here, and then that'll probably end with this will get glued to a pattern paper that matches the opposite side. And then here is the planner page per week that I'm going to use. Now, a little story about this is that when I was setting up my album for this year, I went back and looked at my previous walkthrough video because I thought to myself, I really loved what I did last year. Why reinvent the wheel? I'm just going to redo the same kind of format because I really loved it. So I was watching my setup video and I was like all gung-ho about this planner page, and I was like, oh cool, I'll just reprint those. I'll do it the same way. I'll throw them in the back, and then I'll do like a kind of a wrap up of the year, or not the year, but each week wrap up of the different things that we've done for the days, and I'll make note of the different shows that are on and the different events that we have going on. And then I was feeling like I got a couple of pages done and I was feeling a little bit like not in my December daily groove, and so I went and watched one of my flip throughs for, I want to say the first flip through, so it would have been like the first half of December. And one of the very first things I said was, well, I abandoned the planner pages. And I'm like, no, I didn't even remember that I abandoned them. Off the get-go, I abandoned them. But I felt really good about doing them before I realized that I didn't do them last year. So I'm going to try to stick with it. I really am. I'm going to try to just give myself a little recap of the things that happened, maybe jot down a couple of stories that didn't get told, something like that, and then just have a little space for some extra decorating. And we'll see if that works. What I ended up doing last year was I ended up just gluing these two pages together because this had probably already had something on it. And so we're going to see how that works out. But here are the rest of my dividers. So last year I decorated each divider, and I just haven't gotten to that point yet, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. But that really helped me create a base, create foundations, create sections, and then also while I'm decorating these, it's really getting my December daily groove together. So I will continue to work on getting these decorated because I'd like to label them, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And then the opposite side, I will not recover this unless the first page doesn't go with this. So it just depends on what happens in on the first Monday of each week. It just depends on what this will be like. So I'm happy to cover that up. Doesn't really matter to me. And then I have week 2, and then here is the 3rd week divider, which is probably my favorite one. I am in love with this star paper, and these are both from Fa La La, and they just go so well together. It's like this big contrast and this little itty bitty pattern, but still just feels like they go together. It's not overwhelming at all. And then of course, gotta have the buffalo plaid tab. I really love this paper, so I really hope I can make it stay, but we'll see. And then I have this week, I have a couple of things I want to make sure that we record. Here is week number 3. Yeah, week 3. Again, I love all the color in this collection. Fa La La is so gorgeous. I grabbed a few of the papers. I think I grabbed about 6 or 7 of the 12 by 12 papers, and then the entire 6 by 6 paper pad. So I have a lot of these same patterns in smaller versions, which is really nice. And again, I really like this one too. And this is going to be the final week before Christmas, which is really fun that Christmas falls on a Monday. So I kind of get the whole, it's got its own section basically. So this is everything that's leading up to Christmas. And then here is Christmas week. I am not going to go past the 25th, probably. The 25th or 26th is usually about as far as I go in my albums. It just depends on when I feel the album has ended properly. It's like a movie, you know, when you feel like, okay, that was a good ending. That's probably where I'm gonna go. And it just happens naturally. Sometimes I go all the way to the end. Sometimes I'm done on the 25th. Sometimes there's still lingering things on the 26th. But what I think I could do here is just document a couple of different things that are happening. But then the things that happen here are gonna likely be documented in my Project Life album, and they're not gonna be documented here with pictures and supplies. It's probably just gonna be some notes and maybe just some decoration. And then that will be the end. So friends, that is a look inside my 2017 December Daily Prep album. This is as far as I've gotten, but I feel like I've made a lot of progress, and the really fun part is that I am ready to go. I am so excited, but on the other hand, I'm trying not to burn out on it. So I'm working on it just a little bit at a time. And when I am not feeling like working on it, I put it away, because I don't, like I said, I don't want to burn out, and I don't want to be so excited about it right now. And then and I'm not saying that I would just abandon the project. I've never not completed a December daily, but what I don't want to do is burn out too soon. So okay guys, I hope that you guys have either done some foundation pages or made your opening pages or talked about your reasons. Whatever you've got to do to get yourself prepared, I hope that you're having fun doing it. No stress, just fun, and we will talk really soon. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye! And at Target, what am I trying to say?